to discuss her victory last night and the issues she hopes to address as senator. Her comments are about 20 minutes.
Well, good afternoon, and thank you all for being here. I just want to express again my appreciation to everyone who was part of this great victory, all the people who worked so hard all over the state. And I want to say a special word of thanks to the Liberal Party and Ray Harding and to the Working Families Party, both of whom were so effective in carrying out the message and being a part of this victory. And I want to just reiterate what I said last night about how excited I am to get to work on behalf of New York and all of the ideas and issues that I spoke about during this campaign. And I want to finally thank the members of the press, particularly the Hardy Band who covered me from July of 1999 until last night. And were, part of are traveling across the state from one corner to the next, and I know it took many of you away from your families and your other responsibilities, but I greatly appreciate your being part of this and being involved in this campaign and communicating about what I was saying and what I was hoping to do in the Senate. So with that, does anybody have any questions?
You're going to be entering a Senate that remains in Republican and many of whom members voted to remove your husband from office. What sort of reception do you think you're going to get there?
I think I will get a very positive reception. I have worked with a number of the Republican members in the past. I'm looking forward to working with them on a bipartisan basis on behalf of issues that affect their states as well as New York and, of course, our entire country. Just before I came down, Senator Orrin Hatch called to congratulate me and wish me well. I'll be hearing from other members of the Senate on the other side of the aisle as the day goes by. I reached out to Governor Pataki this morning, and last night Mayor Giuliani called me. And he not only wished me well, he and I talked about what we could do in the remaining year of his term on behalf of this city and the goals that we both share for making life better for all of the citizens of New York City. So I see this as a real opportunity to work in a bipartisan way with people who are interested in many of the same concerns that I have been for a lifetime and that I'll take with me to the Senate.
You won by 12 points. You won by 12 points.
3 months ago, or 4 maybe, at Columbia Presbyterian Hospital, you outlined a health care proposal. You said that would be your very first priority order of business in the Senate. Is that still operative?
Well, the upstate economy and health care and education are my priorities. That's what I've talked about continually through the election. Obviously, there are many other important issues that I will work on. Working on behalf of health care in the way that I outlined, I think there's a broad coalition of members in the Senate who share my views about building on this step-by-step approach to quality, affordable health care. And I've actually had conversations with other members who want to get to work to make sure we make good on the promise of the Children's Health Insurance Program and other ideas that I have thrown into the debate. My first bill on my own behalf will concern the upstate economy and also parts of downstate that have not yet realized the full benefit of the economic prosperity that we enjoy. And of course, what I would propose for upstate communities and for parts of the city downstate would benefit people in other states, but it's the kind of targeted economic help that I think upstate needs to, really have a strategy that'll take it into the future economically.
What did Rick Blasio do wrong, Mrs. Clinton? What did Rick Blasio do wrong?
Well, I'm talking about what I did in my campaign. That's really for all of you who are the analysts and the pundits to decide.
You won by 12 points. That's something, it's a greater victory than even Chuck Schumer won over Al D'Amato. Do you have a mandate? Are you surprised by the breadth of and the depth of the victory?
Well, I'm gratified by it. You know, I felt for the last several weeks that my support was growing throughout the state. I knew that I had literally thousands and thousands of people working on my behalf in places that we needed to turn out the vote and in places where Democrats don't usually do well. I thought, for example, my campaign operation in Onondaga County was as good as I've ever seen in the 30-plus years that I've been involved around campaigns. And that was true in Erie County and Albany County, and we had great operations in Westchester and Nassau and many other places around the state. And I carried, some of the counties in the North Country that Democrats don't usually carry and came very close in a number of others. I could sense that. I felt it. I knew it was happening. I had no idea what the final vote would be, but I felt very gratified that so many people were working so hard on behalf of a positive campaign about the issues.
You're going to run for the White House next time?
No, I'm going to serve my 6 years as the junior senator from New York.
Mrs. Clinton, do you think you have or will develop the diplomatic and the collegial skills needed to bring home the bacon to New York?
You don't think I'm collegial, Gabe? Oh, listen, I think that this is the kind of work that only results from constant, persistent effort. And I have every confidence that Chuck Schumer and I will be an effective team. He and I talked about it and thought ahead as we traveled around the last several days together, particularly the fly around on Monday. And, it's something that both of us are committed to doing, and we're going to fight very hard for New York's fair share and for the kind of programs and policies that will make a difference to New Yorkers. And, I'm a very big admirer of Senator Moynihan and the work that he has done on a wide range of issues, but particularly his understanding of the need to really fight for New York's fair share, I think, is a major contribution, and that's what I intend to do.
Mrs. Clinton, your reaction on the presidential race, the fact that it's so close to home?
Well, I don't think anyone is surprised that I am hoping that Vice President Gore and Joe Lieberman are, at the end of this process going on in Florida, declared the president and vice president. Like many of you, I'm sure, I stayed up literally all night and was just riveted by what was going on. I talked with Senator Lieberman, called to congratulate me. I talked with the vice president probably at, I don't know, I can't remember, 5:30 in the morning. And I'm very hopeful that not only will the lead in the popular vote, which the vice president now has, remain and make very clear that he was the choice of a majority of Americans, but that as a result of the recount and the investigation that will be going on in Florida, he will get the votes that people intended for him to have and will be declared our president.
Mr. Clinton, if that doesn't happen, and Bush pulls out the electoral victory, but Gore ends up with the most popular votes, would you support, or do you support, getting rid of the electoral college and going to a straight vote?
Well, let's wait and see what happens. I'm not going to speculate on that. Marcia.
More about that upstate bill?
Can you tell us how you found out that you won and what you did after you found out that you won?
Well, during the day, I am not a follower of exit polls. I am sort of superstitious about that and try not to pay much attention to them. But during the day, I was making calls into radio stations around the state, urging people to vote, as I have for quite some time. And people were telling me that exit polls were coming out that showed me ahead, which I was obviously happy to learn about, but I didn't really feel it or allow myself to experience it until I was actually called the victor shortly after the polls closed. And then the news just got better and better as the night went on. The votes were coming in, and the margin of victory kept growing. And I was just mostly I was just very gratified. I was very, excited and happy about all the hard work that, I and the people in my campaign and so many others did. I just have to thank everybody in my campaign. I mean, they worked so hard, and it was not an easy campaign, as you know. They had a first-time candidate, and many of them were much more experienced than I was, and they just were there day in and day out, getting the message out. And so when I won, I felt not only a great sense of excitement and satisfaction for me, but for everybody who worked so hard. Yes, well, I'm obviously going to get to work on it so that, I'll be ready to introduce something whenever it's ready and appropriate. But, I'm going to be looking at the kind of targeted economic help that I spoke about throughout upstate. My plan for bringing jobs to upstate communities that have been left behind, that include help for the high-tech infrastructure that a lot of places upstate need and don't yet have, so that we have a fully connected state and are open for business for the new economy. Looking at workforce skills, expanding the regional skills alliances, which I think could help to create a critical mass of skilled workers for IT and other new economy jobs. Looking to provide a small business tax credit for hiring employees in communities that have lost population, so that we can try to reverse the outflow. There's just a lot that I'm going to be looking at and be putting together in a piece of legislation.
Have you been disappointed by the Jewish vote?
No, I'm not disappointed by any vote.
Were you surprised that he was the margin of the victory?
Excuse me, Bill?
Mrs. Clinton, given that there's going to be a Republican Congress and possibly a Republican president, what parts of your agenda do you think would face the most uphill struggle to get through, and what do you think might be the easiest and more bipartisan consensus?
Bill, I really believe that it's likely we're going to have a 50-50 Senate. And then depending upon who's president, we'll either have a 51-49 Senate, or we'll have a 50-50 with a tie-breaking vote by the vice president. That is so close that nobody will be able to get anything done without building bipartisan coalitions. I'm very confident that on many of the issues I care about and have worked on, I have allies on both sides of the aisle. I think one of the reasons that Senator Hatch called me today is because he knew from our experience on the Children's Health Insurance Program, when he and Senator Kennedy carried that bill and I worked on it from the White House, that I'm somebody he can work with. And I'm looking forward to working with him and other Republicans. And on the economic issues, the educational issues, the health care issues, the environmental issues, the positive agenda that I carry with me to the Senate, I think those are not Democratic or Republican issues. I think there are people living in places around the country that have many of the same needs as New Yorkers do, and I absolutely believe we can build a consensus. On the issues that are more partisan, like gun safety measures and a woman's right to choose, we have to stand our ground on those issues, and that's what I intend to do. But I think there's a lot of room for working together on many of the positive issues that I take with me to the Senate.
They said that you should face a sort of choice in your facing approach. You can either make a real conscious effort, as you obviously have to do, to lower your profile and kind of just get down to business in as unobtrusive a way as you can and kind of build credibility that way. Or you can go right in there and use what additional clout and so on that your celebrity engenders. Have you thought about that at all? And do you know which way you might go? I mean,
no, I really haven't. I think, and to me, it's like a case-by-case basis. I don't see that there's one strategy fits all. I don't think that that's the way it works. Now, I don't expect this much attention after today, and so I think that I'll have more of an opportunity to get down to the work of, becoming a senator and becoming effective. And from what I know about the Senate, it's like any new job. I mean, you've got to find your footing. You have to be, willing to work hard to learn the ropes and the rules, build relationships with people, all of which I intend to do. So I just see this as, an opportunity for me to get to work in the most effective way possible, and there'll be different means I choose depending upon what I'm trying to accomplish.
This campaign, any of the tone that came out of any of the commercials that your campaign ran, or the Lazio campaign ran, any of the effect that it might have had on voters, turning voters off?
I don't know. I feel very good about the vote, and I certainly feel very good about the validation of the kind of campaign that we tried to run.
Your colleague Chuck Schumer travels throughout the state. People can come and go as they please if they care to see him speak or whatever. And obviously there's been a degree of security with your appearances throughout the state because you are the First Lady. But when you're Senator Clinton, can the public expect to see that go away entirely, be cut down, or will people have that kind of unfettered access they have with your new colleague in the Senate, Chuck Schumer?
Well, I don't know. I haven't even thought about that. But I think people felt that I was accessible. I think people knew that I worked hard to be accessible. I think that literally tens of thousands of people that I had face-to-face conversations with, that I spent time with, that I shook hands with, I think New Yorkers came away feeling that not only had I been, but I would continue to be accessible, and I intend to be. I just don't know. There are issues related to that, and I haven't even begun to sort them out.
A certain number of people voted against you. What will you do to reach out to them? What would you like to say to those people?
Well, I think in any election there are people who vote for you and vote against you, and I'm gratified we had so many more voting for me. But as I said last night, yesterday we voted as Democrats, Republicans, party members. Today, we're New Yorkers, and I'm going to get to work to represent the entire state of New York. I intend to, be a senator for everyone in New York. And, over the course of time, I think people who, might have supported my opponent will understand and see that.
Did you tell us last night when you were watching the return, was the president with you? Could you describe the scene? And also, could you say how much do you think this victory is his?
Well, I think, we had a rather large group of friends, supporters, family with us, and people were in and out of our suite upstairs. The president, of course, was there, and he and my daughter were very excited and very happy about the outcome. And as I said last night, Dean, I would not have been standing there without, the support and work of my husband. And I don't think as a New Democrat I would have been standing there without his leadership of the Democratic Party and of our country. You've heard me say many times over, and I absolutely believe it, that his leadership made a tremendous difference in our nation. We're a stronger and better country than we were. And I think that the ideas he brought to politics, the hard work and persistence that he exemplified is something that all of us can, learn from. So, you can't separate out a ongoing conversation that we've had about these issues for, 29 years from last night. It's all part of it.
Committees yet? Have you got about committees yet?
I don't know. I don't know yet. Yes.
Can you tell me what role you think women voters played in your victory?
Well, I think they played a decisive role. I mean, according to the early exit returns, I got 61% of the women's vote. I spoke with a number of people today who were, very amazed by the margin that I received. I think I came close, if not made a near majority of the male vote as well, so I don't mean to leave the men out, but I think that the vote was very, was a very powerful statement about what women voters care about, which is what I care about. So I think that that really resonated, and I was very grateful for all the hard work that so many of my friends did. I mean, I don't know how to really catalog all of my friends who went to parties, went to small gatherings, spoke for me, called their friends, emailed, reached out, and all of that added up over time so that we got a tremendous vote last night.
How do you wear both hats in the intervening time between still being First Lady and Senator-elect?
Well, for example, I have to go back to Washington tonight because tomorrow we celebrate the 200th anniversary of the White House. And that is one of the obligations that I'm looking forward to. We are going to have a number of our previous presidents there. As of now, Presidents Bush, Carter, and Ford are scheduled to be there. Lady Bird Johnson will be there. It's a very moving tribute to the House that really symbolizes our American democracy. On Friday, I'm planning a fly around upstate, and we'll be trying to fit in as many stops as we're able to. Then I'll be going to Vietnam with the president, and I'll be working, on all of the transition issues. But, there's going to be a session of Congress next week, and Senator Moynihan and Senator Schumer, our New York senators, they will be leading the debate and making the decisions, and I will obviously support them. So I'm going to be finishing up my responsibilities in the White House while I transition into becoming the senator.
Mrs. Clemson, ask you about those upstate plans later this week. Are you planning rallies? Thank you.
No, we're going to do airport touchdowns, inviting our supporters and the press to come out to the airports, because I want to try to fit in as many as I can. So we're not going to be able to do anything more elaborate than that. But as soon as we have the schedule set, we'll let you know. I feel very strongly about, going back upstate, and I'd hoped to do it today, but, with everything that went on last night, most people didn't even get back home, so it didn't work out. But we will be doing that on Friday.
Thank you, Mrs. Clinton.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Clinton.
This is so much fun, Howard. Didn't Howard do a great job? Yay! And look at how well dressed he is. I mean, don't you think? Karen Finney has a new coat on. Doesn't she look beautiful? Karen Dunn. Where's Karen Dunn? Thank you, Karen Dunn. Where's Kathy Levine? Kathy Levine, the people who took care of the press and tried to, answer your questions and feed you and, all the things that we had to try to do over the last months. And I could not have had a better team, my whole campaign team. I think now, we're going to try to go actually thank some voters. So I'm very happy to have this chance to talk to you. Thank you. Well, a little change is not bad.
Bill.